Scotch playing.
Scotch for Dummies.
Scotch night, Thursday night Scotch Club, Scotch for Dummies. It's been a while since we've been sitting in the chairs. I kind of feel like it's been too long.
And we're all thirsty.
I know, exactly.
Oh, I'm so thirsty.
Thankfully, we record a couple at a time, so we've been able to keep pushing our videos out. But man, it just seems like it's been a while since I've seen you guys. We've all been busy traveling here, there, and everywhere. But
this
tonight,
is more fun.
Yeah,
A lot more fun.
I'm much happier
So
being
much more
here
fun.
right now than at any of those other places. Dalwhinnie 15 is what we are doing tonight. Interesting bottle. We actually reviewed it once, if you can't tell. But the video really looked crappy, so we decided we'd reshoot it. But when we do something like that, we try to wait a long period of time so that we revisit it and we give it
I don't even know what I rated for it last time.
Right.
We'll start over.
It's not fair to do that, so we're trying to give this some time. Anyway, a little bit about Dalwhinnie. Interesting facts about Dalwhinnie. It's the highest distillery in Scotland as far as altitude.
It
changes the way
right
you distill.
in the middle.
It does, and it's dead center in the country, so it's right there in the middle of it. Built in the boom of the 1890s is what I could find out about it. Interestingly enough, though, it was sold in '98. And then 3 years later, it was purchased by a U.S. company. A U.S. distillery in 1903 purchased Dalwhinnie and renamed it Dalwhinnie. So there was a lot of concern in Scotland. Whoa, what's this U.S. company coming in and getting into our business? But luckily, the United States went through a little thing called Prohibition, and so they were forced to sell it back.
I don't know if that was lucky.
Lucky for Scotland. It wasn't lucky
not lucky
for
for
us Yanks. But anyway, so it is owned right now currently by Diageo, I believe, and it is one of the 6 classic malts. For whatever that's worth. I'm not saying it's just a marketing ploy, but
What does that really mean?
basically some group out there, I'm pretty sure it was a distributor or one of these conglomerates that owns a lot of distilleries, packaged 6 different companies, distilleries together and labeled them the classics.
So it's
I think it's right. It's a marketing ploy. It's working because it does sound cool and all. And the other 5 are Glenkinchie, Cragganmore, Talisker, Oban, and Lagavulin, and they're trying to
Which are all good scotches.
round out the other
Very
regions
nice.
is what they're doing.
So it's a regional thing, okay.
Yeah, they're trying to do it from a region, which is kind of cool, especially if you don't know much about Scotch and you want to try one from every region.
Yep.
Hey, there's a good list. We'll start with it.
Go.
So
Don't mind if I do.
Highland is 43%.
Yes, 43%. Good
15 years old.
73 give or take dollars.
Okay.
US dollars.
Give or take.
So it's kind of pricey. 15 years.
It's got a nose on it, I'll give you that.
I'm not getting any smoke or peat though.
No, I'm not.
It's got some
Interesting.
oil in the legs in that
Highlands,
bad boy.
I
No,
kind
no,
of. They're usually pretty.
Unless they do some. So there's no description of any like special casking. So we're expecting regular.
Yep, straight up oak and ex-bourbon casks. That's it.
Don't know if it's single,
Oh
second,
yeah, they'll
third,
get the
fifth.
vanilla.
You should.
Oh yeah.
Now, according to
Very
the
floral.
selection of the distillery, it was chosen for its water source, which I think most distilleries are going to say that. At least they
yeah.
are.
Yes, we have the best water.
We have the best water. It's
And
good
from
for
the
Scotland.
local peat, from the local moors. So I don't know. I don't smell much peat in this at all.
No. Very floral to me.
So,
Sure.
For those people that care, I don't see anything on here about non-chill filtered, no artificial color.
Don't see any of that.
Yeah.
So
So-
it might have
Oh,
some
it-
E150.
I would be surprised unless. Well,
It is light.
But I bet we don't taste it.
I won't.
It does have some oil in it, though. It does have some legs. I'll give you that.
Mmm. That's
I want
tasty.
to say meatish. Honey in it?
Yes,
Yeah.
It is light. It's not the heavy vanilla, heavy tannins. It's more and caramels and
Okay.
cherries. It's more of the honey.
I get the honey, the clover,
Yeah.
a little bit of citrus
You
in
say
there.
bubblegum?
I didn't say bubblegum.
Kenny, what is that?
Interestingly enough, I think it's a little
Candy floss.
heavier on the tongue than it
Timetable.
smells.
Spun sugar.
Sponge sugar.
Why you gotta be that guy? He's a chef.
They asked. I didn't say anything.
So this is a very, it's very smooth Scotch, a very enjoyable Scotch. Not a whole lot going on right now. I'll save my review for
But
it,
it's
but it's a
little malt.
nice drinking Scotch. 15 years.
You're up if you want to get into it. I
Already?
mean, we haven't put
You
any
wanna
water
throw a
on,
little water
so.
on that
No,
bad
let's
boy?
talk a little bit.
I gotta let it air out a little bit.
What do you
enjoy
guys-
it.
what do you
I'll tell you
guys-
what.
It's true.
It's got a nice oily quality to it that kind of coats the
It's
mouth.
true.
Good mouthfeel.
There's not like a really long finish,
Hardly any finish at all for me.
but it coats your mouth and kind of leave it. There's not a flavor, but it's more of a feeling that's still,
Yeah.
kind of hanging out there.
I'll give you the oil.
But it's got a nice floral honey thing going on.
That's good.
Not overpowering by any stretch, but
Did
it's
you say clover? Did you
Yeah.
say that?
Yeah, I'm getting that.
It's very floral. I mean, I'm getting a lot of different.
I get a little bit of citrus, but it's very, very light.
On the nose, but honestly, on the palate, it's heavier.
The palate, you get some of the malt and
Right, it's
a
heavier
little bit
on
of
the palate.
caramel, but
I want a little bit of peat in this a little bit. I think it
Yeah,
would go a long way. It's enjoyable, but it's.
You know what? Now that I put a little water on it, I get more of the malt
Do
coming
you?
through.
Ooh,
And I
actually
get a
does
little
change
bit of a spicy
Yeah.
note now.
I'm
That wasn't
like
there
pepper.
before at all.
Yes,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's got
pepper.
some peppery
Yeah.
almost a
Um,
Cajun.
Cajun pepper.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something
That I-
that Scotch very often.
that I wasn't expecting, actually, to be honest with you.
Ooh, we're getting some fruit now.
It's interesting how the water made it peppery.
Yeah,
All right, well, I'll start with this. So,
All right.
let's do this.
not my normal wheelhouse, but that's okay because this has some interesting things in it. Light on the nose. What were we saying? Light vanilla, mostly honey and those kind of things. The taste, you get some malt on it. You get a little bit of. I was getting a little bit of caramel on the second, and definitely pepper when you add some water to it. So as we typically go, when we have some complexity there, tend to up the score. 15-year-old, $73, 43% alcohol. Doing all my calculations and got my Excel spreadsheets going in my head.
Damn chemist.
You got a pivot chart going on
Got a
too.
pivot chart, I got
You
a
look up.
statistical analysis. Make sure you have a normal distribution.
Okay, I'm gonna start tugging code into
All right, so so I'm going to give this because I'm going to give this I'm going to start with a 2. Let me think about it a little bit when you guys talk, but I'm going to give it a 2 because it does have a little bit of complexity. It's a little pricey, but it is a 15-year. I mean, it's an easy drinking Scotch. There's nothing really
Look what the water
saying
did
wow
to
about it.
those
It's
legs.
not.
Those legs.
I know.
It's not making it, really stand out. It's kind of a middle of the road, good in all things, but not great in anything. I think that's kind of where I would put this.
Claims to be classic.
It is a classic.
A 2, huh?
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's
Drew, what you
definitely a
got?
Highland. I taste a Highland. To
Yeah.
me. That's what I get out of this thing. I pretty much agree with everything you said. I'd like a little bit more peat. It's very. I'll just say that it's very basic. Not a lot of complexity at all to this one, but it's an enjoyable Scotch.
It's definitely drinkable.
It's
I'll
definitely
give it that.
drinkable. There's not a whole lot going in the nose. I would say it's almost a little too floral for me, but it's still enjoyable and I like it. I think it's worthy of 2 as well. I'm kind of was thinking 1.5, but it's for 15 years. 75 is what we said for price.
No flavor. Yeah, in that order.
15 years. I know. I think I could spend that money on something else versus this. It depends what you're trying to get
I think
to.
price point for years, for age, is probably pretty good value.
I think so.
Yeah.
I've had a lot better 15 years.
But probably paid more for a 15-year than that.
It depends on what you're.
Depends on where
It
you're
really
going.
depends on what
You're
you're
paying
in for. I mean, if you got
$65 for a 12
$75 and you're trying to get something for your taste, this for a Highland generic, if you will, Scotch taste, nothing crazy going on. It's a fine
I
Scotch.
would
I would spend my money on something else personally.
I would class this as a fairly light, delicate kind of taste. The flavors are subtle and they do change, but they're very delicate.
If you get this as a Christmas gift or something, great Scotch.
Good Scotch.
I'll join you.
Right.
I'll come
That's
over.
how I'm gonna leave it.
And we'll
All
have
right.
everyone else. All right.
So, I'm going to disagree a little bit with you guys.
Okay.
So I kind of like this Scotch for the fact that, to me, a middle of the road Scotch, when I put water on it, or even when I just taste it neat, it's more unidimensional to me. Either it doesn't have something going on, or something's off-putting a little bit, or when you put water on it, it just kind of washes out the flavor. To me, this Scotch didn't have any of that going on. It had a pretty decent nose, neat. The flavor was good. It was subtle, but you know, it was fun to kind of try and pick out some of the flavors. You know, you got some floral, you got that clover, honey taste going on. Then you put some water on it and you get some pepper and you get some malt coming through. And the oily quality was there, so it had a nice mouthfeel when you were drinking it.
Good.
So to me, it had a little bit more going on than the average Scotch, I would say. Price point, you know, it's 15 years, $75. I mean, that's a little salty, but you know, it's not out of the possibility. So I'm going to give it a 2.5.
Okay.
I thought it was a decent Scotch. I can see why they labeled it as a classic malt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing off-putting. It's nothing crazy.
No.
They're not trying,
Yes.
but they're not trying to do anything crazy either. It's just, here you go. You know, this is what we do.
You know, when I go and think about what Dennis said about a balance, this balances pretty much all the areas pretty well. So maybe it should be higher, but I gave it a 2.
And I'll tell you what, now that it's sat a little bit, when I first put water on it, the peppery quality was a little overwhelming for me. Now that it's set, that's kind of mellowed out. And some of the malt has kind of mixed in with the honey flavors, and it's actually very enjoyable.
It's
now that
interesting. It is
set.
interesting how it got spicy with water. I don't think I've had something get that kind of spicy, peppery water.
It does get
So
peppery.
I'm going to give it a 2.5. It doesn't have anything extraordinary going on,
All right.
but I think
That's
it's a good
fair.
Scotch.
So
That's
we're
fair.
at two twos and a 2.5, and I'm going to throw a major curveball, being the Scotch horse that I am, and I'm going to start off with a 1.5. I know, right?
What are you thinking?
Here, I'll explain it.
I think he's hoarded out too much. He has
No,
nothing
you
left.
know, honestly, neat, I thought it was good. I've always got something that
Oh, really?
goes there with me. Anyway, and I'm gonna say my 1.5 with a tongue in cheek and say, this is my bottle. This is coming home, and I'm gonna enjoy it.
What?
It is drinkable. It's enjoyable. It's a good
It is.
good dram.
It
But
is.
I mean, honestly, from when I'm judging it here, I'm trying to think about this. Neat, it was okay. There wasn't much about it. Yeah, there was a little bit of honey, light on the nose, heavier on the tongue, got a little bit of malt. It was okay. Right then at that point in time, it was a 2 for me.
Yep.
I put water on it, and it went downhill from there. Honestly,
Really?
in the nose, after I put
Oh,
water on
man.
it, honestly, what it smells like to me is rusty water. And that's just what I'm smelling. I'm not saying
and
it's
that's not the water because
poor.
we're using bottled
Right, we're
bottled
using
water. I mean,
we're using bottled water. So it's just what I smell when I stick my nose in it.
Rusted water.
Yes, it did get peppery and
I kinda
but
smell
almost
it
to
now.
the point where I don't
Rusted
enjoy
water,
that.
yeah.
So
I
honestly,
smell honey and malt.
I'll get a lot of this. I'll drink this neat. I'm going to give it a 1.5, and I'm not going to say that in a bad way. I think price point.
Too late.
I see
Rusted
people-
water is kind
it's
of a
crappy. in a
Once you get
good
below
way.
1, now you're talking about crap. But honestly, I'm just saying from this particular dram, drinking this, what I get.
It's fair,
Um,
man.
All right.
I got to keep it fair though, and say I honestly think for $75 a 15-year-old Scotch is a good price. I really do. I mean, heck, that Mac 12 is going for damn near just as much in our
12
local
year.
market, right? And it's
Yeah.
3 years younger. So I appreciate the classic malt. I'm not saying Dalwhinnie's bad in any way, shape, or form.
No.
I'm just saying putting water on it didn't help for me, so I'm gonna go with the 1.5.
So we're a straight out.
We got a
Average
stretch.
2.
Yeah.
Wow.
1.5 to 2.5.
So-
I feel like I'm letting people down.
I
Because
think it's
I'm
okay
not-
to
I
have
think
the
it's great.
greatness, though. I mean, that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
We're
that's
trying to
why we
basically,
have
the
it.
whole point of this is so you can take your money and go, what am I in the mood for? Is this the best bang for my buck? But yeah, and it's actually a decent Scotch. It's not bad.
Well,
It's
for
just
us,
it's just different.
You're not liking it.
But
That's okay.
I
I'll
think-
drink your share, man.
He's gonna drink it.
dislike
I mean, I'll
He
just
just wouldn't go buy it.
trade you something else off the bar
Right?
for this one. Man.
Exactly.
All right.
Hey,
So,
it's a
how we roll.
solid 2, you guys.
I'm not gonna force you to drink it.
Dalwhinnie
I'll take it.
15, classic malt, right?
Round the horn, we got a solid 2.
And
Don't
that's
forget
not
to
bad.
like us down below if you're watching right now. And subscribe. We really appreciate it. We need
Because
to
if
keep
you
going.
subscribe, you'll know when we post more.
Abs-
right.
And we're doing it, man. We're working it.
All right. Thanks,
Cheers.
guys.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Hey, Scotch lovers. Thanks for watching.
Joining the conversation.
More videos below.
And hit subscribe before you go so you can get the new videos when they come out.
Slashing.
Cheers.